All right, today we're going to make some cultured food. So fermentation, cultured food, it's in all cultures. You think of sauerkraut from Germany, Korean kimchi, things like that. Today we're going to make a ginger turmeric cauliflower. So it's really delicious. Anytime you're doing any kind of fermentation in the raw cuisine is you make a brine first, and it does have to sit for 12 to 24 hours. So that's something you want to do a little bit ahead of time. And it can sit for days or weeks, so whenever you think about it, you can make it. You'll have the recipe on how to make the brine, but basically there's kind of an equation. So what I did is I have 3 cups of water here, and according to my equation, if I have 3 cups of water, it is 5 grams of salt per cup. And so it takes 4 grams to make 1 teaspoon. So what I did is I have 3 cups of water and I did 4 teaspoons of salt. And so that's just been sitting. You can just barely see it in there. So you want to go long enough, and when I put them in, I actually had the large crystals, and you can see this has been soaking a little over about 24 hours, well, almost 24 hours. It will be later today. And you can see it's totally dissolved. You can hardly even tell. So you do need that time. So that is basically a salt water. So that's kind of cool. When I learned about culturing foods and we do it with salt water, I thought that's really cool because always in the past it either had sugar or it had vinegar in it. And so this is just a nice alternative. So once you have your brine, now you're ready to go. You just need to figure out what vegetables you want to do. And you can do this with anything. You've got beans, you've got extra beets from the garden, maybe some carrots. Again, maybe it's the end of the week and you have a bunch of vegetables and you don't want to eat them, or they're just almost going bad. This might be a good opportunity to just throw them in some brine and let them sit. So I'm going to do the cauliflower because it's just such a wonderful vegetable. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my jar with the cauliflower. So I'm just going to take away some of the roughage, but just going to have kind of similar sized pieces. Fill up my jar. Cauliflower is sure popular these days. Making everything with it, from mashed potatoes to, gosh, to crust. There's so much you can do with it. Think about all the vegetables that you can put in here. I love doing beets, but all of them. And experiment. Try out with maybe with some Brussels sprouts or some zucchini or whatever. All right, so once you have that full, then the next thing you want to do is put in your garlic. It calls for 2 cloves of garlic. And you can put the whole thing in, but I actually like to cut my garlic at least once. But I'm going to cut it up just a little bit because I don't want the large pieces. You can mince it, you can do whatever you want. Kind of up to your preference. I think it's good to break it up a little bit. I think it releases some of the nutrients as opposed to keeping it closed, but it's up to you. So that we have that. Then the next thing it calls for is ginger. And one little trick with ginger is you can just use a regular spoon and it just peels it so nicely. So much easier than with a knife because it's so rounded, it can be a little bit unsafe. And this I just feel totally safe. Even if I, hit my hand, I'm not going to hurt myself. It's all about safety. And look how beautiful that just peels it away. And it calls for about a 2-inch knob or so. Again, the garlic, put as much as you like. If you like a lot of ginger, you can put more of that in. How cool that is. I'm just gonna put a little knob of that in there. Again, I'm gonna cut it up a little bit. Okay, so cauliflower, garlic, and ginger. Whew, smells good in here. The last ingredient is our turmeric, and I'm using just powdered today. You can use fresh, but I couldn't find it, so I'm just gonna use this. And how much do you put in? You put in till it looks like the color you want. I like a lot of it. It's really good for you, great for inflammation. So I put a generous amount in. Calls for fresh, it calls for about an inch or 2 or 3 teaspoons actually. So that's pretty darn close. It's not gonna hurt it. I love the color of it. And then of course the last thing you're gonna do then is pour the brine. So you can see how easy that is. You just put your vegetables, whatever spices you wanna put in there. And now I got my brine ready. So like I said, the brine really is the most important thing you want to do early so that you're ready to go. And you do want to fill it. And then you want to put a lid on it. Shake it up a little bit. If for some reason you didn't make enough brine and you were a little bit short, just add a little bit of fresh water on there. It's all good. And there we go. It's all set to go. So I'm gonna let it sit on the counter anywhere from 4 to 21 days. It's totally up to you. If this is your first time doing it, I would say taste it after 4 days. What does it taste like on the 4th day? How about the 5th day? What about the 7th day? What about the 10th day? In class on campus, we actually make this in week 4 and then we eat it in 5. So the students make it, it sits on the counter. I might come in every day and just give it a little bit of a shake, just a gentle shake. We have the joke around here that we like to talk nice to it. So how you doing, guys? You're looking beautiful today. And talking to your food is positive. And then a week later, so you make it in 4 and then in 5, we actually enjoy it. And it's usually just fantastic. Does it taste better the next day? Absolutely, it tastes different. Not better, it just tastes different. After 8th, 10th day, it's phenomenal. This will last for months, so you don't have to eat it up right away. One thing you do want to caution is every time you go into it, use a fresh or a clean spoon or tongs so that you don't contaminate the environment. But other than that, it is awesome. Once it's done, the whole fermentation process is at room temperature, not a real hot room, not a super cold, so someplace in between, not in the direct sun. And then once it's done, it can go in the refrigerator for weeks and months. Okay? So think about what you want to make, enjoy making this recipe, and have a great day.